Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram 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 Ram,
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo namah. समस्त वैष्णववृंद की जय, महाचार्य दास ठाकुर जी की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Good morning, Indian devotees. This is Shivani from Ashram, Virginia. Please forgive me for stopping your beautiful chanting. I welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. Let us move to the next part of the session. Today's topic is going to be on Madhurya Kadambini, session 13, which will be given by Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji. May I know who will have joined this morning?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada. This is Preeti Vilasini Devi Dasi from Atlanta. Thank you, Mataji, for your warm welcoming. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasini Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and giving a beautiful association for all your seva and for beautiful recitation of Bhagavad Gita today. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Hare
Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Neetu Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and giving a beautiful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashamati Priya Devi Dasi from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji. Please accept
Good
my
morning,
humble
Mr.
obeisances.
Williams. I'm good. How are you doing, sir?
Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving a beautiful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Is there anybody else who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam, Salve Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirtida Sundari Dasi.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Good morning, dear devotees. Once again, I welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. I would like to start by sharing a quote by Srila Prabhupada Ji. At Tirupati, there are so many hills. From the distant place, your vision is not clear. You simply see something cloudy. The same hill, but if you make a little further progress, you will see the same hill greenish. And if you actually go in the same hill, you will find there are so many animals, men, and houses. Object is the same, but from a different angle vision, it appears differently. Similarly, unless one can Krishna perfectly, realize Krishna perfectly, he realizes the absolute truth as impersonal, Nirankar Brahman. Tirupati, April 26, 1974. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Good morning, dear devotees. Today we're very fortunate to have Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Mataji will be enlightening us on the topic of Madhurya Kadambini, session 13, Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Thank you so much for giving your valuable time and your wonderful association this morning. Waiting eagerly to hear from you, Mataji. Please take over the call. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear Shivani Mataji. Thank you so much for your very, very warm welcome. Thank you everyone for joining us today in this session of Madhurya Kadambini. So we will start with the auspicious invocation prayers and then we'll move forward. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालय कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। आनंद लीलामय विग्रहाय हेमाभादेव्या छवि सुंदराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रस प्रदाय चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्येश्वरम्। We'll recite the Mangalacharan from Madhurya Kadambini. ऋत्वप्रेणव भक्तिशस्य वितते सञ्जीवनी स्वगमम् रम्भे कामतपर्तुदाह दमनी विश्वापगोलासिनी दारुण्ये मरुषाखिनोऽपि सरसि भावाय भूयात् प्रभु श्री चैतन्य कृपा निरंकुश महा माधुर्य कादम्बिनी। Yes, Yashomati Mataji, please go ahead. Yashomati Mataji, you are on mute. Hare Krishna. Can you all hear me? Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, Mataji.
No worries.
रद्विपरे नव भक्ति सस्य वितते संजीवनी स्वगमा रंभे कामतपर्तुदाह दमनी विश्वापगोलासिनी दूरान्मे मरुसखिनोऽपि सरसि भावाय भूयात् प्रभु श्रीचैतन्य कृपा निरंकुशमहा माधुर्य कादम्बिनी। हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for reciting so beautifully. Thank you, everyone. Please shower your blessings, prayers, wishes so that I can speak something relevant to this subject matter. Today we are on the very esoteric subject matter in our sadhana bhakti. And it's very difficult to explain these vrishtis, these showers of Madhurya Kadambini. But with the blessings of our acharyas, with the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas, I'm just trying to make an attempt. So kindly bless me. Vanchakalpatarubhishya kripasindhuvaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai. All the assembled Vaishnavas ki jai. So we are in the 7th shower of nectar, which is the flow of divine rapture. So as we all know, that this entire Madhurya Kadambini is an essay, right? It's an essay that was written by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, elaborating on one single verse of Srila Rupa Goswami from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So we all know this. And that verse was Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Tata Bhajana Kriya Tato Anartha Nivritti Sya Tato Nishtha Ruchis Tatha Asaktis Tatha Bhavas Tatha Prema Vidhachanti Sadhakanam Ayam Premna Pradhur Bhave Bhavet Kramaha. So this is the chronological order of one's sadhana bhakti that Srila Rupa Goswami describes. So it starts with Shraddha and it goes and culminates into Prema. So it doesn't culminate into Prema, it goes beyond that. But Prema, in the wider term, it is being mentioned, and it ends with Prema. So these are the 9 limbs of sadhana bhakti. Now, all these 9 steps, rather, of sadhana bhakti, of this we have already discussed the 7 steps. We have discussed about Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. In Bhajan Kriya, we have discussed Anishtita Bhajan Kriya and Nishtita Bhajan Kriya. We discussed about Anartha Nivritti, how we start with Anishta Bhajan Kriya and it goes on till Prema. Then we described how Anishtita Bhakti leads to Nishtha, next step, which leads to Ruchi. And Ruchi, when it is condensed, turns into Asakti. And today we will discuss the 7th shower, that is the 8th step of our sadhana bhakti, that is Bhav. So we are in the section of Bhav. That's how we are going to discuss. So this flow of divine rapture, that is the 7th shower of nectar, the 7th vrishti of Madhurya Kadambini. And that is what? It is Bhava Bhakti. Bhav, we all know what is Bhav. It's an emotion, right? It's an emotion that comes when one performs some bhajan. So Bhav, this is the verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, where it says, Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Suryamsu Samya Bhag Ruchi Bhis Chitta Mashnaya Krit Ashu Bhava Uchyate. So this is the definition of this Bhava Bhakti, which is given by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So what it says Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma. Okay, so when this soul who is on this level of Bhav. Now, before we discuss this, I just want to let you know that this Bhava has been also used as the word Rati. Okay, so Bhava and Rati have been synonymously used by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So it's the same meaning. So when the soul comes on this level of Bhava, it has got 3 characteristics. One is that the soul is situated in Shuddha Sattva. This Shuddha Sattva is not the mode of goodness, because mode of goodness is just the Sattva, Sattva Gun. But Shuddha Sattva means one gets situated on the transcendental goodness, that goodness which doesn't belong to this material world, that goodness which belongs to the spiritual world. This is one category, Lakshan. And then it says, Prema Suryamsu Samya Bhak. So that means this Bhava Bhakti, it's like a ray. Amsha. Amsha means just a ray of what? Of Surya, of a sun of Prema. So it's the ray of sun of Prema. This is the another characteristics of a person who is in Bhava Bhakti. Third is Ruchibhis Chitta Marshneya, means his heart. His heart, Chitta, his heart is Marshneya. Marshneya means it becomes softened. It becomes softened because of the taste, because of the ruchi and asakti that one has already experienced prior to this stage. Krit ashu bhava uchyate. And this sadhana bhakti is known as bhava bhakti. It becomes bhava bhakti. So in a layman term, we can say that when asakti, the stage prior to bhav, it ripens, it is known as bhava. So this is also known as rati. So as I already told you that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he uses this bhava and rati simultaneously, as a synonym he uses. So this bhava is actually a budding stage. It's a budding stage where the sadhaka is in Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma. So what is Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma? Is transcendental goodness. That means that sadhaka, he is at the budding stage where he realizes the three eternal Shaktis of the Supreme Lord. So what are the three eternal Shaktis? It's Sandhini Shakti, Samvit Shakti, and Haladini Shakti. So we all know this. I'm not going to go in detail. Or you can say, namely, the Chit, Sat, Chit, and Ananda Shakti. So the sadhaka is, he or she, the sadhaka becomes cognizant. He becomes cognizant, he becomes all knowledgeable, and he is situated in all bliss. And that is what is Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma. Okay. Now, in this verse, we see this is a Swarup Lakshan. Okay. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Prabhupada, he describes that this bhava has two Lakshan, Swarup Lakshan and another is Tadastha Lakshan. Okay. So Swarup Lakshan is the primary characteristics, the intrinsic characteristic of a sadhaka who is in bhava bhakti. So that Swarup Lakshan is Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma. That is the Swarup Lakshan, or the primary characteristic of a sadhaka who is in bhava bhakti. What is that? A special manifestation of Shuddha Sattva. When devotional service is executed on transcendental platform of pure goodness, that is what is Swarup Lakshan. And we have discussed that the sadhaka becomes cognizant, becomes all knowledgeable, all blissful, and all knowledgeable, all cognizant, and all blissful means he becomes knowable to all the three Shaktis of the Supreme Lord. Now, next comes is Tatastha Lakshan. Tatastha Lakshan means the secondary characteristics that sprouts in a heart of a sadhaka when the sadhaka is on bhava bhakti. And the first Tatastha Lakshan, or the marginal characteristics, is the Prema Suryamshu Samya Bhak. It is like a ray of the sun of Prema. That means that a person who is fully in bhava bhakti, gets a glimpse of Prema Bhakti. Okay, this is what it means. Though the Prema Bhakti is the next step to Bhava Bhakti, but a person who is fully matured in Bhava Bhakti also realizes the ray of Prema in one's own sadhana. Then comes Ruchibhi's Chitta Marshnya Krit. And also it softens the heart by various states, by various Ruchis. Now here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he describes in detail why Srila Rupa Goswami, because this verse is originally from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So he describes that why this word Ruchibhi is actually the plural word. Okay, why it is mentioned the plural, which it indicates that there is a desire. Ruchi means the taste. Okay, the taste of what? The taste of desire appears in the heart of a sadhaka, and that we have already discussed. And what are those desires? Those desires are to attain Krishna. Second is to desire to serve Krishna. And third is to establish an affectionate relationship with Krishna. So these are the three desires that sprouts in the heart of a sadhaka who is on a platform of ruchi. Okay. So this taste, when it gets condensed, means there is no other desire rather other than attaining the Supreme Lord, serving the Supreme Lord, and establishing the relationship with the Supreme Lord. When it gets highly condensed, when there is no thought process of material attainment, it's only Krishna, only serving Krishna, and having only an affectionate relationship with Krishna, crying for Krishna, longing for Krishna, lamenting for Krishna. When it gets condensed, then it is known as Ruchi Bhi. Then one is known as in the platform of Bhava Bhakti. So Ruchi Bhi means all these three desires. That's why it is used as plural. What happens? It Chitta Marshnya. Such of these desires in the condensed form, they soften the heart of a devotee who is on Bhava Bhakti. So it is again a Tatastha Lakshan. It is a secondary, a marginal characteristics that it softens the heart by various tastes. And those tastes are attaining the Supreme Lord, serving the Supreme Lord, and finally, developing an affectionate relationship with the Supreme Lord. Only these three desires, when it is in the condensed form in the heart of a sadhaka, it softens the heart. Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, Prema Shuryamshu Samyabhak, Ruchi is Chitta Marshnya. It softens the heart of a devotee. And when all these three characteristics, these intrinsic characteristics and the marginal characteristics is seen in the heart of a sadhaka, then one can realize that that sadhaka is on the level of Bhava Bhakti. Okay. Now this Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains. So we will also see what is Premamshu Samyabhak, means how the sadhaka who is in a bhava level, completely situated in the level of bhava, also gets a ray of the sun of prema. That we will discuss little later, but today itself we'll try to discuss this. Now, all these levels of Bhava Bhakti, okay, these are, but how to attain that Swarupa Shakti? So, in this, let's discuss here only, where it's mentioned that it is like a sun, it is like a ray of sun of Prema. So, what does it mean? That how the sun of, the ray of Prema also gets awakened in the heart of a sadhaka who is on the level of Bhava Bhakti. So what happened is, in Prema, when somebody is on the level of Prema, one develops one's Swarupa Shakti. That is known as Siddha Deha. That means you know your constitutional position in the spiritual world. Now that constitutional position of what we have in the spiritual world is actually told us by Srila Guru, via the medium of Krishna. It's told by Krishna via the medium of Guru, Shri Guru. So, of course, this Swarup Lakshan, this our Swarup Siddhi, our Siddha Deha, our eternal constitutional position in spiritual world is revealed by Lord Shri Krishna only. Krishna knows, he only reveals. But how he reveals? He reveals via the medium, through the process of Sri Guru. When one surrenders to Sri Guru reveals that Siddha Deha, that spiritual constitutional position that we have in the spiritual world. And how Sri Guru knows? It's only through Krishna. So Krishna gives this to spiritual master, and the spiritual master then further reveals this in the heart of a sadhaka. Now, when somebody has his spiritual deha, his spiritual, or you can say Swarup Shakti, when somebody is known, that means our constitutional position is known. Now, that constitutional position that we know is what is known as Sthai Bhav. Okay? A little technical, but if we try to understand, because great detail has been explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, but in Madhurya Kadambini, that great detail has not been explained. So, because Madhurya Kadambini also just explains on the surface level, so we will also try to understand on surface level only. Everything is greatly in detail explained by Srila Rupa Goswami, but this class is not of Nectar of Devotion, so we will also just scratch the surface. But to scratch the surface also, little attention is needed, that the constitutional position, what we have in the spiritual world, is revealed through Sri Guru, and Sri Guru gets revelation of our constitutional position through Krishna. Okay, this one thing has to be understood. Second, whatever constitutional position we have, it is made up of two things, our Sthai Bhav and Vyabhachari Bhav. Sthai Bhav is our eternal position. But having that eternal position, there should be some extra emotions flowing in so that Sthai Bhav becomes condensed. And that becomes rasa, like we say, Dasi rasa, Vatsalya rasa, or you can say Shanta rasa, Madhurya rasa, Sakhya rasa. There are so many rasas, right? Now, all these, there are also 7 secondary. These are all primary 5 rasas. There are also 7 secondary rasas. That is also, it's been known to us. And now comes the point that this constitutional position, or our Swarup Siddhi, has two things, Sthai Bhav and Sanchari Bhav, or you can say Vyabhachari Bhav. These two, when combined together, they bring out the ras, the bhakti ras, or our eternal constitutional position. Now, for an example, which we have, I think, so already quoted before, if we want to make a sabzi or a vegetable, of example, if I want to make a potato sabzi, okay? So making a potato sabzi, the most important ingredient in making the potato sabzi is potato. Without potato, I cannot make potato vegetable or potato sabzi. So the most important ingredient needed is potato. So that means that becomes our Sthai Bhav. Okay, one is situated in this Bhav in the spiritual world in service of Lord Shri Krishna. Now, to relish that potato sabzi, it's not just I take potato and I put it in the cooker and done. I have to put so many extra spices, maybe some ginger, some chili, some tomatoes, and some salt, pepper, turmeric, some other masalas we have to put so that the potato sabzi that comes out, it's more relishable, it's most tasteful, right? But all other ingredients, if I'm missing tomatoes or if I'm missing ginger, I can still make that potato sabzi. So all other ingredients, they are needed to enhance the taste of potato sabzi. Okay. Similarly, these potato, that is the main ingredient, is what is our Sthai Bhav. Rest all the ingredients that enhances the flavor of sthai bhav is what is known as vyabhachari bhav. We will see in detail. I'm just giving you the high level thing. So the combination of sthai bhav and our vyabhachari bhav, which is also known as sanchari bhav, is what brings the total relishment of a particular ras. And that ras is what is our constitutional position in the spiritual world. But then, how to attain that Sarup Shakti, that our constitutional position? Then it says, Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabhunai, Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Karaya Uday. This Sarup Shakti of Bhava. Bhava is a self-manifesting state of Sarup Shakti. So when this Sarup Shakti is revealed, that means the devotee or a sadhaka is on the level of Bhava. It says it cannot be attained by some devotional practices, but it manifests by itself in the heart. So this Sarup Shakti manifests in the heart of a sadhaka with the mercy of Sri Guru. And that heart, which is purified by these devotional practices, as Shravanam and Kirtanam. So one cannot say that if I do my Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam in a very determined manner, my Sarup Shakti will be revealed. This Sarup Shakti gets self-manifested. You cannot achieve this by some external process. Okay? You cannot achieve or know your Sarup Shakti by doing some limbs of devotional services. We cannot. This Sarup Shakti is revealed in the heart of a sadhaka by the mercy of Sri Guru. But that means these practices of devotional service doesn't hold any value? Of course they have. They have their value because when a person performs these devotional service, the heart becomes purified. And in that purified heart, this Swarup Shakti is revealed by Sri Guru in the heart of a sadhaka. So that's how one comes on the level of bhava. Therefore, when we were discussing till Ruchi and Asakti, we discussed that actually this Ruchi and Asakti is still on the level of sadhana path. Okay, this can be attained by our devotional services, by practicing devotional services. But this bhava bhakti has to be revealed in the heart of a sadhaka. Because at this level, what was the Swarup Lakshan is that one knows one's Swarup Shakti. One gets situated in Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma. One knows, one becomes cognizant of one's Siddha Deha. But that Siddha Deha can be revealed by Sri Guru only in the purified heart of a sadhaka, and that heart which has been purified by following the practices of devotional service. I hope you understood. One cannot say that because I have been practicing devotional service, now I am entitled to know my Swarup Shakti. This has to be self-manifested. But it manifests by the mercy of Sri Guru in the heart, in the purified heart, and that heart which is purified by the practices of devotional services. So they are to an extent dependent, but also not 100%. I cannot say that I have been practicing these limbs of devotional service. Now I am entitled to know my Swarup Shakti. That is not possible. Even my heart has become 100% purified. Still, I cannot claim to know my Siddha Deha or my Swarup Shakti. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunai Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Karai Udai. It has to be self-manifested by the mercy of Sri Guru. Okay. Now comes the another thing, that is the characteristics of a bhava. So we have understood this. So bhava or rati basically is like a blossoming flower. And this blossoming flower has been grown on a devotional creeper. Remember, we discussed this is not a kind of a tree, but it is a kind of a creeper. Why? Because creeper, this is devotional creeper. Therefore, it is known as bhakti lata. Right? It's not a bhakti vriksha. It's a bhakti lata. Why lata? Because lata, when it grows, the creeper, when it grows, it always requires some association. It cannot grow without any support. And that support is what is known as association. So therefore, this is bhakti lata. This is a bhakti creeper that will require. And what is that support? That support is the association of like-minded devotees or advanced devotees. Even if somebody is on the level of bhava bhakti and prema bhakti, still it has to be performed. It has to be practiced in the association of devotees. Therefore, it is known as a bhakti lata or a bhakti creeper. Now, this bhava bhakti is like a flower. Up till now, we have seen the leaves growing. Okay, we saw 2 leaves grown. And what were those 2 leaves? Kleshagni and what was the another one?
Shubhada.
Shubhada. Thank you. So one was Kleshagni, another was Shubhada. Means as soon as one start practicing, the miseries go away, all the kleshas go away, and it brings all auspiciousness. Now more leaves will be growing. 2 more leaves will grow as soon as one is on the level of bhava. That doesn't mean that after that, anartha nivritti, nishtha, ruchi, the leaves doesn't grow. Leaves are there. Okay, but the 6 main characteristics of pure devotional service described by Srila Rupa Goswami, and they were 6, right? Kleshagni, Shubhada, Moksha Laghu Krit, and Sudurlabha, then Sandaranda Visheshatma, and the last was Krishna Akarshani. These were the 6 characteristics, the 6 main leaves that grow on this bhakti creeper. So now, when somebody is on the stage of bhava, that means that sadhaka's bhakti creeper a flower is started blooming. That's why I said it's a budding stage, right? A small flower start blooming on this wish-fulfilling vine creeper of devotion. Now, this flower has an outer luster and this flower has an inner whorl. Okay, this flower which is blooming for someone who is on a bhava bhakti has 2 things. Outer, you can say, the outer luster of a flower, and another is the inner whorl of the flower. And that is what is the next part, which is the characteristics of bhava. So the characteristics of bhava is described that the first is the outer is the inner one, sorry. This is the inner one, the inner whorl, the outer luster and the inner whorl. Inner whorl is what is known as moksha laghuta krit, which was the 3rd characteristics of pure devotional service as described by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. What is moksha laghukrit? Moksha means liberation. Laghuta means feeling insignificance of even attaining liberation. So somebody who is on the level of bhava bhakti will feel the insignificance of getting moksha. Means the liberation will have no value to a person who is on bhava bhakti. Bhava renders insignificant even the liberation that jnanis and yogis attain after great difficulty. But a sadhaka doesn't pay any attention to this moksha, to this liberation. This is again a verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Manat eva prarudhyayam prarudayam hridaye bhagavadratau purusharthastu charpartas tritrine samanmata. Like this, all this liberation, moksha, looks like trina, like a blade of grass. So when bhava bhakti awakens in the heart, even slightly, now here it is not the person has matured in bhava bhakti, but a glimpse of bhava will have this characteristic. What that characteristics? The four objects of human pursuit, namely dharma, artha, kama, moksha. That is duty in accordance with religious principles, wealth, desire for sense pleasure, and moksha, emancipation or liberation. What does it appear? It appears as insignificant and worthless as straw. So this is one of the characteristics of bhava. The second is sudurlabha. Okay. So in total, okay, let's first discuss sudurlabha. What is sudurlabha? Meaning that bhava is most rarely attained. So when this flower of bhava blossoms, the inner world is what is moksha laghutakrit. That means all these dharma, artha, kama, moksha looks insignificant. And the outer luster of that flower is sudurlabha. Sudurlabha means it is very rarely attained. So that means this bhava bhakti, which is self-manifesting, it is not the process of a sadhana bhakti, but it is self-manifesting. Krishna doesn't give it so easily. By one's extensive practice of sadhana and by the mercy of sadhu, guru and Sri Hari, this is important, one attains this extremely rare wealth of bhava. Why it is said by extensive practice of sadhana? Because through extensive practice of sadhana, one's hearts get purified, but one cannot claim. Okay, one cannot claim to be on the level of bhava bhakti. It's only through practice of sadhana when the heart becomes purified, then by the mercy, this is very important, only by the mercy of sadhu, guru and Sri Hari, one obtains this extremely rare wealth of bhava bhakti. Sadhana agner anasanger alabhya suchirad api harina chas addeti dvida sa syat sudurlabha. A person cannot attain devotion to Sri Hari even after forsaking attachment to material sense objects and engaging in numerous practice services. One cannot obtain this bhava bhakti. If somebody has left all the material attachments, not a tinge of material attachment is there, and one has been practicing for extended period of time, engaged in spiritual practices, still one cannot claim to be on the level of bhava bhakti. Moreover, Sri Hari also does not easily bestow bhakti to him. For these two reasons, it has been mentioned that this flower, which is sprouting on this creeper of bhakti, it's very rarely obtained. Up till asakti, it is still something is under the control. Of course, Sri Guru's mercy is needed right from Shraddha. From Ado Shraddha also it is needed. Because before that, it was Mahat Seva. When Satam Seva and Mahat Seva, when we were doing that, only then we get some Shastriya Shraddha, which requires mercy of Sri Guru. But still, our own sadhana, our own practice of devotional service plays a major role in coming to the level of asakti. But after that, it is purely by the mercy of Sri Guru and Hari that this bhava bhakti will be manifested in the heart of a sadhaka. Okay? We cannot claim this. We cannot claim this. So this becomes a sudurlabha. Now it's sudurlabha, moksha lagukakrit and sudurlabha. So that means 4 characteristics of pure devotional service we have discussed. First two, Kleshagni and Shubhada, appears only at the first stage, maybe from Ado Shraddha only. It starts when this Bhakti Lata beach is sown in the heart of a sadhaka. The first two leaves that sprout is what is Kleshagni and Shubhada. But then when the sadhaka grows in his devotion, then comes on the level of Bhava Bhakti, where these two again will sprout, that is Moksha Lagukakrit and Sudurlabha. So that means, in one sense, because in Bhagavad Gita it is been mentioned that how this Bhakti Yoga is Sulabha. It's Sulabha, it's very easily attained. But now one of the characteristics of a pure devotional service, it is Sudurlabha. Why it is so? Yes, it is Sulabha because it is easy to practice. It is easy to start. Because what is Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga is dovetailing all our activities towards the Supreme Lord. That is a Bhakti Yoga. It is easy to start, but it is very difficult to maintain, and it is very difficult to attain the fruit of that Bhakti Yoga. That is why the fruit of Bhakti Yoga is difficult to attain, and it is known as Sudurlabha. Not only Durlabha, but Sudurlabha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, out of millions and millions will become theist. Out of those millions of theists, one will realize one's relationship with Krishna. And out of those millions and millions of those sadhakas, one will really hanker to attain Krishna. And out of those millions and millions of those who hanker to attain Krishna, one attains Krishna. Okay. So it's a very, very difficult process. And secondly, it has to come by the mercy of Sri Guru or Sri Hari only. There is no other way. Now, why Sri Hari doesn't give it so easily? The Lord doesn't give it easily, doesn't bestow this level, this bhakti, unless and until the devotee seriously longs for it. And that longing in the heart of a sadhaka becomes intense. Prabhupada normally gives this example when the child is crying and mother knows my child is crying. The mother, first of all, what she does she immediately come and gives attention to the child? Very rarely. First of all, if she's really working or she's doing some household chores and she's busy, she will try to allure the child by giving some one toy to another toy to another toy, maybe something, some cracker to eat, some biscuit to eat, or something so that the child can forget why the child was crying. Right? So first of all, these allurements will come. But when the child really needs the attention of a mother and doesn't get allured by all these things, the child cries, and that cry is an intense cry. And then what happens? Then the mother comes in and gives her time to the child, or gives total attention to the child, that what the child is longing for. Similarly, our dear Lord Shri Krishna, first of all, whosoever is on the path of bhakti, Krishna doesn't give that bhava bhakti immediately. Krishna says, okay, you keep on practicing. Let me see how long. Are you really longing for me? Are you really hankering for me? Do you really have that intense desire to attain me and serve me? So Krishna will give all these allurements. And if we are happy with those allurements, Krishna says, okay, you are happy, I am happy. But if we still keep on crying that, oh Krishna, all these things I don't want, even if it is positive or negative, Krishna can give us both to test us. But when we say, no, Krishna, whatever, my only desire is that I want you, nothing else. My intention, my hankering is only to have you, to attain you, to serve you. Then Krishna gives this bhava bhakti. But before that, Krishna conceals it. Krishna doesn't give it. And secondly, Krishna sees our capability also. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he elaborates on this verse of Bhava Bhakti, this sadhana anugrahir asagnagrir alabhya suchirat api, when Rupa Goswami wrote, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he elaborated on this verse, and from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he actually tells that Krishna looks for the capability. Krishna looks how much our heart is purified. Are we capable enough to behold that Bhava Bhakti? Because when that Bhava Bhakti is established in the heart, then the sadhaka gets no interest whatsoever in the material existence. Self-interested desire becomes aloof. The sadhaka becomes aloof to self-interested desire. This is what Srila Jiva Goswami actually, he comments. I'm sorry if I said Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's Jiva Goswami who wrote a commentary on this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and he wrote this verse. And what verse was written by Srila Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami commented, and he says that yes, Krishna doesn't give, because Krishna looks for the eligibility, for the capability, whether we have or not. In contrast to what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who gives it freely and doesn't look for any eligibility and capability. So this is what is mentioned, that the characteristics of bhava, the two other characteristics also comes where it moksha lagu kakrit and sudurlabha. So the four characteristics that Srila Rupa Goswami describes of pure devotional service have been covered. Rest of the two, that is Sandaranda Visheshatma and Krishna Akarshani, these two will be revealed in prema, in the last level of prema. Okay, I hope till now it is clear. Now comes Rati Ananda Rupaiva. This is the term that is being used by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur while explaining this bhava. What does it mean? He says the stage at which Rati, that means bhava, awakens is verily the form of spiritual bliss. So when this Rati gets awakened in the heart of a sadhaka, one is in spiritual bliss, Ananda. That is what is known as Ratir Ananda Rupaiva. One gets fixed in that Ananda. So what actually it means is that when this Jata Rati Sadhaka, that sadhaka in which this bhava has been awakened, then the sadhaka is in total bliss. And what is that bliss? That bliss is the experience of sweetness of Sri Krishna. One experiences the sweetness of Sri Krishna, the blackness of his limb, the crimson glow, the bimba colored fruit of his lips. That one experiences. One experiences the lotus eyes of the Supreme Lord. One experiencing the mild smita, the smile of the Supreme Lord. One experiencing the yellow garments of the Supreme Lord. One experiences his lightning ornaments. And along with this, the Ashta Satvika Vikar, the ecstatic symptoms of fainting, of choking, of hair standing on end, of tears flowing, they all ornament. They become the ornaments of a sadhaka who is on this bhava level. So all these things, they bring that sadhaka who is on bhava level, all these things, they bring that sadhaka who is on the bhava level to be situated in eternal bliss. That is why it is known as Ratir Ananda Rupaiva, means the state in which the sadhaka is, that bhava state in which the sadhaka is, he or she is experiencing total bliss. Total bliss. Even that sadhaka is in this world, but doesn't belong to this world. Means all the happiness and sorrow, all the fame and infamy, all the honor and dishonor doesn't bother that sadhaka anymore. Why? Because the sadhaka is in the spiritual world. Though is in the material world, but his consciousness is in the spiritual world. That sadhaka every time, the devotee every time experiences this bliss of Krishna, of having the association of Krishna, also of having all the association of Ashtasattvika Vikara. So this is what is known as Rati Ananda Rupaiva. Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita mentions this, that he start relishing the treasure of the sweetness of Krishna. And then what happens? Then Sthai Bhav, the sprout of Sthai Bhav of Prema, it starts sprouting. Okay? On the level of Bhava, this Sthai Bhav is not 100% revealed, but it gets sprouting. Because this Sthai Bhav is a characteristic of a Prema, which is of the next level. But once who is situated on Bhava, that is why it is being mentioned, right? Suryamsha, the ray of sun of Prema, starts sprouting for a person, for a sadhaka who is on the level of Bhava. But then, two types of Bhava mentioned, right? Sthai Bhav and Sanchari and Vyabhachari Bhav. So we have explained this by the example of a potato sabzi, that how this Sanchari Bhav also comes. But these are transitory ecstatic emotions. But the Sthai Bhav is the fixed emotion. Now this Sthai Bhav is actually the characteristics of a prema. But the person who is fixed in bhava, this Sthai Bhav starts sprouting along with all the Sanchari Bhav. And what are those Sanchari Bhav? Indifference, moroseness, humility, guilt, fatigue, intoxication. So these I've just mentioned for the sake of mentioning. There are 33 Sthai Bhavs, that is, or Sanchari Bhav, that is being mentioned. In the presence of these, the sadhaka is always in bliss, always in ananda. So these are the Sanchari Bhav, which is also known as Vyabhichari Bhav, which is also known as transitory ecstatic emotions, which are there in Bhava Bhakti. Now, if you want to know detail, I thought of covering each and every Sanchari Bhav in detail, but it would have been a very, very long session. Means discussing these 33 types of Sanchari Bhavs would have taken another 10 sessions, because Rupa Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu has given in detail with examples in this. So what I thought, that because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has just mentioned it in Madhurya Kadambini, so we will stick to Madhurya Kadambini only, and we will not discuss in detail. But if any one of you really gets inspired and wants to read more about it, they can refer to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.4. That means the second wave. I think so. It's in the fourth wave. Sorry, it's a second or fourth wave. But it's a second. But second means the southern. In the southern section, the fourth wave. Okay. How the nectar of devotion is divided? It's divided into 4 main ocean, right? It's the Eastern Ocean, Southern Ocean, Western Ocean, and Northern Ocean. It goes anti-clockwise. So in the Eastern Ocean, and then in the Southern Ocean, then comes the Western Ocean, and then comes the Northern Ocean. So all these oceans have different waves also. Okay, so this Sanchari Bhav or Vyabhachari Bhav has been mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in the Southern Ocean in the 4th wave. So you can refer to this, and it has been mentioned all the Sanchari Bhavas or the Vyabhachari Bhava. But we have to understand that the combination of Vyabhachari Bhav and Sthai Bhav is what is known as Prem Ras, is what is known as the Ras, which is relished by a sadhaka. So definitely we'll not go in detail. So we have mentioned this, and you all can look into Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Now comes the next section that comes is that who is a sadhaka. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur actually describes that it's only at this stage of rati, this stage of bhava, that the devotee is truly called a sadhaka. Now this was also an eye-opening for me, because we all claim ourselves to be a sadhaka. We all are in the process of our sadhana bhakti. So we are sadhaka, but we are not even sadhaka. At least I'll talk about myself. Not on the level of sadhaka. We are aspiring to become a sadhaka. The real sadhaka can be called as sadhaka when one's constitutional position is revealed to that sadhaka. That means when one comes on the level of bhava, only then a devotee or a person can be known as, truly known as a sadhaka. Those devotees in whom utpanna rate samyam nirvigranyam anupagataha Krishna sakshat kratau yogyah sadhakaha parikirtitaha. Those devotees in whom Krishna rati has awakened, but whose obstacles have yet not completely eradicated. Why? Because remember that Anartha Nivritri chart? We have seen that chart, and we have seen that even if somebody is on the bhava level, the aparadhota anarthas are only 75% eradicated. 15% are still there. Rest all are, yes, completely gone. But all the anarthas like Dushkrit anarthas, Sukrit anarthas, even Bhakti anarthas. But what is left is aparadhota anarthas. So yet completely, obstacles have not yet completely eradicated, and who have attained the qualification to have direct audience of Krishna, they are known as sadhakas. So these are the sadhakas. So that means a person have to be on the level of bhava bhakti, only then a person can be known as devotee. Rest all are aspiring devotees. We are not true devotees. Then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that what actually happens on the level of bhava bhakti. So at the stage of bhava, the devotee constantly remembers the Supreme Lord and attains the stage of Dhruvanusmriti. Now, when I just, in one sentence, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the devotee constantly remembers Krishna at the stage of bhava bhakti and comes on the level and the stage of Dhruvanusmriti. Now, when I was looking this, and one sentence again he mentions, he didn't mention much about all the different stages, but he just says one line. And he also quotes from Kapila Muni, when Kapila Muni was giving instruction to his mother Devahuti. At that time, also Kapila Muni gives this one example, because this Dhruvanusmriti comes when somebody is longing to constantly remember the Supreme Lord. That means one is on the level of Nirguna Bhakti, right? So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the example when Kapila Dev was giving the instructions to his mother Devahuti. He says that if someone hears Krishna's name, qualities, then his mind is automatically fixed on Krishna. And he gives the example that just like the water of Ganga flows spontaneously towards the ocean, similarly, the mind of that sadhaka, whose heart, whose mind is totally absorbed in Krishna, is totally fixed in Krishna, is that mind flows towards Krishna, means just like the Ganga flows spontaneously, similarly, the mind of that sadhaka flows towards Krishna because that sadhaka is totally absorbed or fixed in hearing Krishna's names, qualities, forms, and pastimes. Now, only these things are being mentioned by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. But then I look forward that what is Dhruvanusmriti? Then we thought we'll discuss a little bit of the stages of sadhana as per Nectar of Instruction, verse 8 purport, where Srila Prabhupada has mentioned the 8 dashas. So he says the first is Shravana dasha, when one comes on the stage of hearing. Now this hearing is not a regular hearing that, again, that what I do, just hearing from one ear and going out of another ear. This hearing is absorbed hearing, when we really get absorbed in hearing. And that is what is known as Shravana Dasha. Dasha means stage. Next comes the Varana Dasha. After hearing, when one accepts, one grahan karta hai, jab wo varan karta hai, whatever somebody has heard, and that hearing is a rapt attention hearing. And then when somebody accepts whatever one has heard, that is Varana Dasha. Third is Smarana Avastha or Smarana Dasha. Whatever we have heard, whatever we have contemplated upon, whatever we have accepted, now we are on the stage of remembering. That means recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remembrance, and trance. These are the 5 items of progressive Krishna Smarana. This Smarana Avastha is when we have recollected, we are totally absorbed, we are in meditation, we are constant remembrance, and we are in trance to know about Krishna, and we are thinking about Krishna. That is Smarana Dasha. Next is what is Anusmriti, that is known as Dhruvanusmriti, when meditation expands and it becomes constant. Dhruva means determined or constant. When that smriti, when that Anusmriti, it becomes constant. That is what is known as Dhruvanusmriti, and this is the characteristics of a Bhava Bhakta, or a Bhava on the sadhaka who is on this level of Bhava Bhakti. This Anusmriti happens, this Dhruvanusmriti happens. This is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur just gives one line, but thanks to Srila Prabhupada, who in his Nectar of Instruction purport gives these different stages of sadhana. So after Dhruvanusmriti, he says, then comes the level of Samadhi. And this Samadhi is uninterrupted and unceasing Anusmriti. And one enters the stage of Samadhi or spiritual trance. And the 6th is the Sampati Dasha, that is the perfection of life. At that time, he can perfectly and clearly understand his eternal relationship with Krishna, means the Sthai Bhav. The Sthai Bhav becomes prominent, is completely known to the sadhaka, which happens at the level of prema. Okay, so this is what is Dhruvanusmriti, which is also one of the characteristics of Bhava Bhakti. So we have discussed the previous one, that is Ananda, that we have already discussed, that Ratir Ananda Rupaiva, that a person is always in blissful. Why is always in blissful? We have discussed. How the person dwells in Sanchari Bhava, we have discussed. And then comes the level that a characteristics of a Bhava Bhakti, where he says that one enters into the stage of Dhruvanusmriti. And what is Dhruvanusmriti is this: when meditation expands and becomes constant. Now someone can say, okay, well, I am awake. In a wakeful stage, a sadhaka can be very much absorbed or very much become constant in one's meditation to Lord Krishna. But it's not always that a sadhaka who is on this bhava level be always in the wakefulness stage. Okay, in the wakefulness stage, the heart and the mind doesn't enjoy any material objects and is always and constantly fixed on the remembrance of Krishna. But then what happened in the stage of dreaming stage or a sleeping stage, or when somebody is in sound sleep, one is in a susupti state, then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he reconciles and he gives the solution that somebody who is on the level of bhava, that Dhruvanusmriti, not only in the wakeful stage, but also in the sound sleep, in the sushupti state, as well as in the dreaming state, is also absorbed. So that means if somebody is in the sleeping state, when somebody is dreaming, not sound sleep, but dreaming, the dream will also be of the Supreme Lord. In dreaming stage also, there will be the streams of thoughts that will be coming in, but those thoughts will also be the thoughts of Sri Hari's qualities, forms, pastimes. So even at the dreaming stage also, the sadhaka is contemplating on Lord Shri Krishna's name, pastimes, qualities. Then comes when somebody is in the sound sleep or in a sushupti stage. Then also he says that the subtle mind, what happened at the sound sleep? Our mind, intelligence, and heart, and our ego, they all go in a deep sleep. We are unaware of where we are and we become inactive. But a person or a sadhaka who is on this level of bhava, he will, while sleeping, while in deep sleep also, will not desire or think anything except Krishna. Even at the dreaming stage, sound sleep stage also, the name, form, and qualities of Sri Krishna will be revealed in the mind of a sadhaka, even at the dreaming stage or sound sleep, sushupti stage. So that Dhruvanusmriti, which is the characteristics of a bhava bhakti, actually comes in the heart of a sadhaka at all the three stages: wakefulness, sleeping, and sound sleep, dreaming and sound sleep. So everything in all these three stages, the Lord Shri Krishna's pastimes, names, forms, qualities will be revealed for a person who is on the stage of bhava. Then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says that even that ahamta and mamata also gets destroyed. See, a materialistic person will have a mamata and ahamta of gross body, of one's possession, of one's wife, children, or anything that belongs to that person. Even the jnanis, they have a slight tinge of, they don't have that ahamta and mahamta, that they don't have that I-ness and minus, because they reject altogether. They reject altogether and they become one. They have the desire to become one with Brahman. But those who are on the level of sadhaka, they give up this ahamta and mamta, not like jnanis, and they do not possess like materialistic. They don't give up like jnanis, but they dovetail it towards Lord Shri Krishna. So at the level of bhava, this ahamta and mamta, the jiva realizes that actually this is not something that anything that belongs to me. That false ego immediately goes away in this level of bhava bhakti. So one realizes one's one's being eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. And this is what is known as Siddha Swarup. One realizes that I am the servant of Lord Shri Krishna. So one gives up this ahamta and mamata. But this same ahamta and mamata will be there 100% in a premi bhakta. But there, that ahamta and mamata gets dovetailed towards Lord Shri Krishna, where a premi bhakta understands that Krishna is mine and I am Krishna. Nothing related onto the bodily platform. Okay, I'll repeat. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this ahamta and mamata is there in the in normal sadhakas. It is there, and they consider their gross material things, their wife, children, land, their possessions, and they have their this little bit kind of I-ness and possessiveness of mindness. There, that is there. The Gyanis, they just give up all this because they know that this is useless, and they situate themselves onto the level of Brahman. Now, the person, the sadhaka who is following the process of bhakti yoga and is on the level of bhava bhakti, gives up this I-ness and minus, but understand that actually real I-ness is that I am servant of Krishna. I am Krishna Das. The same bhava bhakta, when comes on the level of prema bhakta, at that time that ahamta and mamata again comes in, but that ahamta and mamata is towards only Lord Shri Krishna. The possessiveness is towards Lord Shri Krishna, that I am Krishna's and Krishna is mine. Okay, so that is what is known as about this ahamta and mamata. So in Dhruvanusmriti, and we have discussed about this I-ness and minus. Now comes the symptoms. What are the symptoms of, okay, it's already 12:14. Oh, Krishna. Okay, we will not be able to cover everything. Okay, let me see what is there in this. Okay, let's cover this last portion, and then so much to cover today. Okay, let's discuss this last and then we'll stop. So what are the symptoms of Jata Rati Bhaktas? So this is again from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. We have known this verse. Shantir avyartha kalatvam viraktir manashunyata asha bandha samatkunta nama gane sada ruchi asaktis tatha gunakhyane pritis tadvatsalistate iti adyo anubhavasyur jate bhavankure jane. So this is what is important. Jata bhavankure jane. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions that these symptoms are necessary for a person who is on the level of bhava. When somebody is on the level of bhava, these symptoms get sprouted. Ankur matlab phoot jate hain. All these symptoms are seen in the personality who is on the level of bhava bhakti. And what are those symptoms? We have discussed previously also. Let's discuss line by line. Shanti. Shanti means when one heart remains unagitated. Though there are causes of agitation, there may be endless causes of agitation, but still the heart becomes very, very shant, very, very mild, remains unagitated. Then somebody who has this bhava bhakti, this shanti, this symptom of shanti gets sprouted. Avyartha kalatvam means spending all time absorbed in devotional service, aloof from material affairs, not wasting even a moment which is not Krishna conscious. Virakti, natural distaste for sense objects such as material form, taste, smell, sound, and touch. Having that virakti bhav, that renunciation. Manashunyata, when one is prideless in spite of one's excellence. Asha bandha, at the same time having firm faith to obtain the Supreme Lord. Samatkanta, the ardent desire for attaining one's desired supreme object. Nama gane sada ruchi, thirst arising out of affection for constantly chanting the holy name. Asakti tad gunakhyane, one's natural attachment to describing the Lord's most sweet qualities and pastimes. So they are always having this asakti, this attachment to describe or to give in detail about Lord Shri Krishna's sweet qualities and pastimes. And last, tad vasati sthale priti means having priti tad vasati sthale That means a desire to reside in the places of Lord's pastimes, such as Vrindavan and others. So these are the symptoms of Jati Rati Bhaktas that is being described by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So these symptoms are important. Other symptoms like softening of the heart, having that Ashtasatvika Vikar, the hair standing on end, and all those other symptoms like crying. Yes, they are important. These symptoms are there. But these symptoms may be developed in anybody who is mild at heart or who is little emotional at heart. So even though if they have not come on to the level of Bhava Bhakti, those Ashtasatvika Vikar can still come in. Okay, like shedding tears, standing of bodily hairs are there. But these symptoms, what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, that these symptoms are very much necessary for somebody who is on the level of Bhava Bhakti. So these symptoms are very necessary. But then we'll stop here right now. I have many slides to go, but we will cover next week. But the point here is that we have to understand that yes, these symptoms are there, but these symptoms are not to look in somebody else, but these symptoms to look in our own self, to see whether I'm on this level of Shanti, whether I'm doing this Avyartha Kalatvam, whether I have this Virakti, whether I have this Manashunyata. If not, then understand that I'm still not on the level of Bhava Bhakti, because these symptoms are very much necessary. Jata Bhavankurajane. Anybody who is on the level of Bhava Bhakti will have these 9 symptoms, which are very, very important. So we'll stop here. We have more slides to go. So I think so we will not be able to cover now, and we will cover next Friday. Okay. So thank you all so much. Thank you for patiently listening. I hope I'm making some sense, because this bhava and prema is something even it's out of my scope also. And there is so much what Jiva Goswami commented and what Srila Rupa Goswami has written, and then how Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur brings it in this Madhurya Kadambini. So it's very difficult for me also to first consolidate everything and then try to explain. But I hope I'm making some sense. So thank you all so much. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Check messages. Okay, any questions so far? Okay.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Mataji.
Yeah, yes.
Accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji. It was a very interesting class. I have a few questions. First thing is, first thing is about Satchidananda. Person understands the Satchidananda of the Lord. Now that he is in Shuddha Sattva, does he also understand that he is also Satchidananda, I mean the realization of the self?
Yes, he also understands this. He becomes cognizant of his being Satchidananda also. Yes.
Oh, thanks, Mataji. Second question is, one thing that you really made sense and you clarified is about how one receives one constitutional position, identity. Because there are always, within the Gaudiya Vaishnavism itself, Gaudiya Vaishnavites itself, there are 2 schools of thought. One set of people say their constitutional position is eternal, it is revealed by Krishna. There is another school of thought that says that it is given by Guru, but you actually consolidated everything and you spoke very clearly that it is given by Guru through the medium of, it is given by Krishna through the medium of the Guru. But one thing that I really liked what you clarified, of course, you put both together, but the most important thing is it is revealed in the medium of the heart. I thought that was the thing that has answered everybody's question. The reason is Some people are under the impression the guru will come and tell you, oh, you are this and this. And then that person starts meditating and he acts like he's one. Like, for example, there is the story of a Babaji who said, you are a peacock in Goloka. And he was acting like he's got peacock feathers. And he was jumping around like a peacock trying to develop his Siddha Swarup. So that is one extreme. While some of us, we think, yes, it is given by Krishna, but I think this was very nicely clarified. It is given by Krishna through the medium of the Guru, revealed in the heart. It is not like someone tells you one day, come here, I will tell you a secret. So it is revealed at the heart. I really like the clarity that you gave, Mataji, that answers a lot of questions that one may have. And I also wanted to voice it. So thank you. And the other thing is, I didn't know Sanchari Bhav, Vyabhachari Bhav actually mean the same. And then, and in the stage of Bhava, you have the Sthai Bhav and the Sanchari Bhav. So two things. And I like that 6 leaves sprouting thing that you said. That was also, so the final 2 leaves are during Prema?
Prema, yes.
Yeah, that is beautiful and interesting, by the way. Didn't you say Bhava is a flower and then the inside world is actually Moksha Lagutakrit and the outside? But is it 2 leaves or is it a flower or it can be taken either?
No, it's not 2 leaves. Vishwanath, even I was thinking that it's again 2 leaves that sprouts, but it's not. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that till the level of asakti, these leaves comes, but one who is on the stage of bhava, this flower sprouts in. So this is the blossoming flower, and the whirl of that flower is moksha lagukakrit, and the outer luster of that flower is sudurla.
Okay, and then in the prema level also it's a flower, it's not 2 leaves.
No, it becomes a fruit.
So then it's 2 leaves, then a flower and a fruit.
Then
so
a
that
fruit.
is what makes it 6. Okay.
Yes. And then fruit will then be offered at the lotus feet of divine God.
And the fruit also has 2 parts, apparently, looks like the flesh and skin. Okay.
Flesh. Yes, and that is what is Sandaratma Vishnishatma and Krishna Krishna.
Okay, very nice. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the clarification. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Parima Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for this such a wonderful class, such a profound subject, and you really kind of explain it like so well. But Mataji, I have this question. We read so many stories of so many devotees, who are just plain simple people, and they have so much of love and affection for Krishna. Especially when you hear the stories in Pandharpur and so many other places, of course, and Jagannath Puri, where Krishna then comes and they get personal with Krishna. How, I cannot understand what stage are they in, because they appear to be so simple, like probably like you and me.
Outwardly.
Yeah, but sometimes there are so many that they are living a material life, and suddenly they change, and it's so rapid. That's what I'm trying to say. And here, when I read this, it's like I'm nowhere. I don't know how many ages is going to take to reach this level.
Looks like externally they are like you and me, but consciously they may be on a different level altogether.
Yeah, but it all appears so simple when we read it, the stories.
I said that in this bhava level, if somebody is there, then though that person may belong to this world, but consciously they are in the different world. But they belong to the spiritual world. Like we see the example as you were giving about the Pandharpur example, there is one lady, right? What was his name?
Yeah, Sakhubai.
Sakhubai. Looks like a simple-hearted person. But Krishna himself comes and helps her.
Yeah.
Right? So looks like a simple-hearted person and looks like a grahastha person like you and me. But see the conscious level that she has. So outwardly, a devotee will also look the same, doing the same thing, doing the same 9 to 5 job, maintaining one grahastha ashram. But consciously, the person may be altogether different. So it's all depend upon consciousness, what consciousness we are carrying when we are exposed to this material world, when we are exposed to so-called problems of life. What consciousness do we carry? It all depends upon this. That's why Prabhupada says International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So yes, that Sakuba is on the level of Bhava Bhakti, where Krishna himself comes and helps her. But then we see sometimes people pretend to be on that level, right? That is what I want to cover today, but because of interest of time, we'll cover it next. And that is what is known as Bhava Bhas, means Rati Abhas. When we have that just a shadow and we think we are on that level and we pretend to that level. So that we will next week, Mataji. It is there. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur will leave no stone unturned. We'll take all the doubts of all the possibilities and will, reconcile it. Yes, he discussed this. He discussed. And I want to cover, but the time
So,
was...
Mataji, next time.
Yeah,
But
next
it
time.
was so wonderful. I mean, I enjoy your classes, Madhuri. Thank you so much once again for your wonderful service. I mean, otherwise, I don't think I would ever have made that attempt to read this. But it's because of you that I'm getting to hear this. So I'm grateful to you, Mataji. Thank you.
Mataji. It's vice versa. I don't think so I'll ever pick up this Madhurya Kadambini and read it. But because of all of you, I'm getting inspired, enthused to read this in detail. And that's helping me a lot. So all glories to all of you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. Danvataram. Sare Krishna.
So no more question. We can stop. Shivani Mataji is not there. Okay, so I'll take up the lead. Thank you all so much. Thank you for your wonderful association. We will stop here now. Let's pay our obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. Vanchakal Patirubhyascha Sindhu Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Anantakoti Vaishnava Shila Vishwanath Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Madhurya
Yeah.
all the assemblies.
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Mataji.
ending the call.
Thank you, Madhurya.
And then the call. Wait.